Hi friends, this is Mallikarjun Melagiri. Welcome to my channel Technical Mallu. So today we are going to start learning Cypress, the end-to-end test automation tool. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's understand what is Cypress. Cypress is a JavaScript-based front-end test automation tool. It's built on top of Mocha and runs in the browser. So when you Google for Mocha, this is what we get. Mocha is a JavaScript test framework for Node.js programs, featuring browser support, asynchronous testing, test coverage reports, and use of any assertion library. So, Cypress is mainly built on top of Mocha. It was founded in June 2014. That is, the first code commit happened in June 2014. And the main thing is, it does not use Selenium in the backend. Many test automation frameworks have emerged in the market, which internally they will make use of the Selenium concepts. They make use of the Selenium in the backend. But this tool is entirely different than Selenium. The main difference you can see here is the Selenium will sit outside of the browser and it will launch the browser and execute the test cases onto the browser. But Cypress, on the other hand, executes within the browser. That's the main difference, or that's the main power of Cypress. And also, it's an open source tool, which means it is free. You can just download it, learn it, and start using it. www.cypress.io is the website for all the Cypress resources. You see all the documentations and all the details related to Cypress. When we look at the browser support, according to the Cypress latest documentation, it supports majorly these three browsers: the Chrome 64 version and above, the Microsoft Edge version 79 and above, and the Firefox version 86 and above. This means that it can automate any applications that is targeted to run on Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Firefox. Now let's look at the important features of Cypress. So Cypress allows the detection of the browsers which are installed on your system. And there is a drop down. When you click on that, it will show all the browsers which are installed on your system, and you can select any of those browsers and you can target the execution on that browser. So that's one of the feature. And the important feature in Cypress is time travel. So your script contains like tens or hundreds of commands. So when your script executes, so you can go on each and every command, and when you hover on the command, it will show you what was the state of your application when that particular command was executed. So in that way, after the execution, you can go to each and every command and try to see what was the status or the state of your application at that particular command. So this is very helpful in terms of debugging. And also it provides screenshots and videos during the execution of any script. It keeps on taking the screenshots on each and every page or every action carried out. And it also takes the videos, which will be helpful for debugging once the script is executed. And also it provides consistent results. Like if you see in Selenium, when we run multiple times, sometimes the script might pass or sometimes it might fail. But here the result is consistent. And also Cypress provides automatic waits. This means that whenever a page loads, it will automatically wait for some time to load the page. And also each and every component of the page, it will try to put some automatic waits on each and every component, and it will try to wait. And this can also be overridden. If you want to wait for some more time for that component, or if you want to reduce the time of wait, you can do it anytime later. And one more feature is Cypress provides great debuggability. So once you execute a script, there might be many failures in the script. It makes very important for any test automation framework or test automation tool that it should provide a very good debugging facility so that the user can go and check the failures and try to debug it in a proper manner. Cypress provides a great debugging functionality. Now let's go through some of the limitations of the Cypress tool. Cypress cannot drive two browsers at the same time. And also, Cypress cannot support switching between the same browser tabs. Now, I feel these two are the major limitations from this tool because it is very necessary for any web application testing software to test multiple browsers at the same time. And also, we should be able to test multiple tabs because many of the websites, when we click on one link, it will open in a new tab and that has to be supported. But they call it as a trade off because when they are running the Cypress within the browser, unlike the Selenium, which is running outside of the browser, it makes Cypress more powerful. So because of that advantage, they had to compromise with these two disadvantages. And the next one is Only JavaScript is supported for test script creation. So if you see Selenium, it supports multiple languages like Java, C Sharp, JavaScript, and so many languages. But in Cypress, only JavaScript is supported. So that is also a major limitation of this tool. And also Safari and IE browsers are not yet supported. Maybe in the future they might think about it and they might try to support it. And also it has a limited support for iframes, the HTML iframes. So if a web application has many iframes in it, then you will definitely face some difficulty testing that web application using Cypress. Now let's look at the software requirements. So for the OS, if you want to use Windows, then you need at least 64-bit Windows version 7 and above. And if you want to go with a Linux, you want a 64-bit Linux, either Fedora, Debian or Ubuntu versions as specified. And also if you want to go for Mac, then at least you need 10.9 and above, the 64-bit version. As we are going to build the framework on top of this Node.js, we would require Node.js version 12 or above. And also we would require any IDE for framework development. In this demonstration, we will be using VS Code as our IDE. You can also check for the latest system requirements in the link provided. Okay, so let's now check whether we have Node.js and npm or not in our system. So I'll go to command prompt and type node minus v. So it will give the version 16.13.1. So node is present on my system, and I'll also check for npm node package manager. Okay, npm is also present on my system. But if you don't have node and npm on your system, then you can download and install it. So you have to go to Google and search for download node.js. Then go to this download page on nodejs.org. So here, if you are working on a Windows, then go to Windows 64-bit and click on download. So it will download the MSI package. So once it is downloaded, go to the download file location and double click on the file. Then you'll get the installation wizard. Accept the license, then click next. Select the location. You can change the location of the installation also. Next, click next. Then by default, whatever option is there, just click next and click on install. So I already have the node on my system. I'm not going to click on install. I'm just going to click cancel. So once it is installed, you can go to the command prompt and check for whether it is installed properly or not. You can just type node minus v, then you will get the version which is installed. Okay, so now let's install the VS Code, the IDE. So open Google and search for download VS Code. It will take you to the code.visualstudio.com. Click on that link and then go, if you are on Windows, then go to the user installer. User installer is for single person, and the system installer is if you have multiple accounts on your system and each one of the users want to access it, then you have to go for a system install. I'll wait until it is downloaded. So once it is downloaded, I'll go to the downloads folder and double click on the installer, accept the license agreement, click on next, select the location where you want to install it, click next, next, register, add open code action point to explore punishment. Okay, create a desktop icon. If you want to create a desktop icon, click on this one. Okay, add to path. You can add to this system path. Okay, next, then install. Then click on finish. So this has successfully installed VS Code on my system. So now we will create a project structure and then we will launch VS Code IDE and open that project from the IDE. So if you have gone through my Selenium and Cucumber BDD framework tutorial, there I had automated the NOP commerce application. So here also we will be automating this same NOP commerce application. So for that, I have gone to my C drive, Malik. Inside that, I have Cypress projects folder. So inside the Cypress projects, I have created a NOP commerce folder. So this will be our project root folder. Now, Let's launch our VS Code. So here you can see Visual Studio Code. Let's launch VS Code. Okay. So here we have to go to the Explorer. So here we can go to Open folder and we have to browse our folder. This PC, C drive, Malik, Cypress projects, NOP commerce. Okay. So let me select this folder and say select folder. And it's asking, do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? I'll say yes. Okay, I'll check this so that whatever is there under Cypress projects, everything it will be trusting and it will not ask again. Okay, so now we have opened the NOP Commerce project structure inside our IDE. Okay, so now we will open the terminal and issue command npm init -y. So this will create a package.json in your project. So this is similar to our pom.xml in our Maven projects. So in the pom.xml, we put all the dependencies and build activity and all, right. So all those things can be done here in the package.json. So now I will go to terminal and say new terminal. Okay, so here you can see it is in my NOP Commerce project. So whatever commands I execute or whatever packages or dependencies I declare inside this package, it will be restricted only to this project alone. So it will not be applied to the entire system. All the dependencies, whatever I define, it will be applicable only to this project itself. So I'll say npm init -y. Wrote to C Malik Cypress projects NOP commerce package.json. So it has created the package.json and this is the structure of the package.json and this is similar to our pom.xml. So here whatever dependencies we define, everything it will come inside this package.json. So here if you go into our NOP commerce, so that package.json is now created. Initially it was empty and now it is created. So next we will install the Cypress, npm install Cypress. This is just like adding the Selenium Java dependency into your pom.xml and saving the pom.xml. So it will create a Maven dependency jar files, right, inside the Maven project. Just like that, we are trying to add the Cypress dependency into the Cypress project. So we can maximize or minimize the terminal window like this. So here I will say npm install Cypress. So now it is installing Cypress. So it will take some time to install the Cypress. So we'll wait for until it's done. So once the Cypress is successfully installed, you should be seeing this message. And once it is installed, you can do npm. Okay, I had done clear screen. So we'll say npx Cypress -b. So we'll check the Cypress package version, whatever we installed just now. And then npx Cypress verify. So when you see verified Cypress, so this is successfully verified. And finally, we run this npx Cypress open. This will create the Cypress project structure as well as this will open the Cypress app. Yeah. So as you can see, it has opened the Cypress app. So here you can do end-to-end testing as well as component testing. Component testing is like unit testing or a module-wise testing. You can test independent modules here. End-to-end testing means it will be comprising of multiple modules, one after the other. One module, it will send a request to another module, and that module again it will send a request to some other module, and again the response will come back through all the modules. It will create a chain of requests. So that is the end-to-end testing. But in the component testing, you will be testing only single component. You just send a request to the component and you will get a response from that component. So you can choose any one of these. And in our demonstration, we'll be going ahead with end-to-end testing. So here now, if you refresh your project, here you can see all the node modules has been created. Package.json is created, and also you can see that the Cypress application is open, and NOP Commerce. You can see that our project name NOP Commerce. So the NOP Commerce project is showing up here, and here you can go through the documentations. So let's go to the end-to-end testing. So when I click on end-to-end testing, by default it will create these configuration files, default configuration files, config.js, and we have end-to-end.js. So end-to-end configuration, example.js, and also by default it will create some example test scenario, and we have to choose which browser we want to simulate, on which browser we want to run our tests. So Chrome, Edge, Electron, and Firefox. So let me choose Chrome browser and say start end-to-end testing in Chrome. So here it is asking whether we have to go for the example. So here if we choose this option, we'll generate several example specs. Or if we create one empty test case, then it will generate an empty spec file. So we'll go with an empty spec file. So here it's saying spec.cypress.js .cy.js. This is the format of the file, the extension of the file which it will create. So I'll say create spec. So by default, it has created one specification here. So let's not try to understand what it is. We'll discuss about this specification later. And I'll say, okay, run the spec. So in the spec, it was trying to open this sample website, example.cypress.io. And so here it has opened that website. So it is just trying to visit that website. This is just a sample test and it got passed. Okay, friends, I think we can stop at this point. So today we came to know what is Cypress. We came to know the fundamental concept about the Cypress tool, what are its pros and what are its cons, and we also tried to set up the basic setup to start doing automation using Cypress tool. In the coming session, we will start with the actual application, the NOP Commerce application, and we'll try to automate that application using the Cypress tool. And we will also do the Cucumber BDD framework using the Cypress tool. Thank you.